Get that counter corrected. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another meeting of the Inkster City Council. Hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday. The time is now 7:02 p.m. and today is Tuesday, September 6th, 2022. Before we call the meeting to order, Reverend Williams, will you lead us in prayer, please?
Oh God, we come to the way to raise the everlasting love. All that we conduct the meeting of the city of Inkster, all continue to touch us to do everything in love, unity, and strength. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Of course. For the record, Mayor Wimberly.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Howard, excused. Councilman Williams. Councilwoman Washington.
Here.
Councilwoman Watley. Councilman Chisholm.
Here.
And Councilman Shaw.
Here.
You have a quorum.
All right, moving right into it. Approval of the agenda with a couple of additions, if this body does not mind. Our distinguished senator is here.
Yes.
Dana Pohinky. She'll go on to presentations first. And then after the trophy presentation by the H-Town Writers, we will like to have Mabel Stroman approach for Unity in the Community for a certificate to the city. If that's fine, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. Senator, please approach and welcome.
Well, my goodness, thank you for letting me speak to you today. My name is Dana Pohinky, and I'm currently the senator for Livonia, Plymouth, Canton, Northville, and Wayne. Because of redistricting that happened, I am hoping to be the state senator of this new district, District 5, which is a section of Livonia, all of Canton, all of Westland, all of Garden City, and all of Inkster. And just a little bit about me is that I was a high school English teacher for about 20 years before I entered into politics. I had no plans to enter into politics, but after the 2016 presidential election, I just thought I have to get involved in a big way. So ran for office, was not supposed to win, and did win. So I've been lucky enough to be a state senator for the past almost 4 years. And so my reason for being here is just to introduce myself to especially the council members whom I don't know well yet. I have talked with Mayor Wimberly quite a bit, Mr. Chisholm, Ms. Washington. A couple of things that I've already kind of set in motion in anticipation of hopefully being your state senator. I, based on what the mayor and you all have listed as your priorities, I heard you when you said that you needed your library renovation. So even in the Michigan Senate, I really fought hard for $1.5 million for that project. And I'm so happy to say it was awarded, and that money should be coming soon. I hear,
Just a point of clarification, just so everyone will be on the same page, it's the old library.
Okay.
That we will be renovating into the Historical and Cultural Arts Museum.
okay, so the library,
The old library.
okay, the old library.
It'll be all of that, it'll be everything that we want it to be. Yeah, but that'll be our central location, especially for, again, our history in the city of Inkster. We
Right.
don't have a place that houses our history in the city. It's very important that
Mhm.
not only that we recognize our history, that we celebrate our history, that of course we expose other people to our history, especially our young people in the community. So I'm looking forward to it being more than just the Historical and Cultural Arts Museum, of course, a welcome center.
Yeah.
For all. Go ahead, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mayor has talked to my team and I about strengthening the Michigan Avenue corridor, which I totally agree with. And maybe moving this office, up to someplace that's not so far back. I think that might be a good idea. And, you know, I say this, I would love to see the school debt eliminated. However, I can't make any promises that that would happen if the legislature, the dynamic of it remains as it is now. So chipping away at or erasing any school debt can happen, but we're not gonna know the likelihood of that till after the November 8th election. That's just how it is gonna be. So I hear you about that debt, and the interest rates is very high, and in my mind that it's unfair. And I worked as a team with Mayor and Legina and SAFE over the weekend and made some calls. We all kind of pitched in and helped out with DTE's power outage for the senior center, where I believe you had 300 seniors who were suffering after days of this power outage. So I was happy to make some calls, and you know, I'm glad the power was restored. So that's, I mean, I don't have much more than that. I could go on, but it's you know.
750,000 infrastructure
Oh, for Canton?
for Inkster.
I don't know about that.
I did see that.
Okay, so, you know, those would be dollars that we got as a whole. So, but it's going to apply to Inkster,
Okay.
yeah. That wasn't something that, like the library project
Right.
that I put as number one on my list. But yes, that is coming as part of the state budget
Okay.
overall, yeah. So thank you for hearing me, and I appreciate you. And again, my name's Dana Polhanke. I know it's a hard name to say. I've been dealing with it my whole life. If you just remember Dana with a Y, that would be good. Thank you.
Senator.
Oh,
please.
yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Let me say this, first of all, let me start off by welcoming you aboard. And we're looking forward to working with you. There are some, I guess the mayor have already started off some of the concerns that we do have in this area. And we want to get to know you and work with you, and you work with us, and see what we can do here for the city of Inkster. Once again, welcome you aboard.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Thank you. Appreciate
Anyone
that.
else?
Yes, it's Dana, Dayna, And my last name is pronounced Polehanki. It's Polehanki, like a flagpole, Polehanki. All right.
Councilwoman,
I was just wanting to say,
speak up.
thanks for coming out and also fighting to get the $1.5 million because that's definitely something that we need in our community. And hopefully, keep your fingers crossed
I
that
know.
you get through the general election so you can be our senator.
Thank you.
So yeah, welcome aboard as well.
Appreciate you. Regina's calling me all the time, by the way. She's like, we need, so just know that members of your city council and especially mayor are really fighting for this community. Trust that. All right.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Senator. Thank you. And I just saw one of my favorite people.
What's that?
Thank you so much, Senator.
Okay, thank you.
But I just saw one of my favorite people in the world come in, and please, Honorable County Commissioner Glenn Anderson, approach, please. And we know that we love you, man. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know how to, I just say I love you, everybody in Inkster. It just is a great city that surprises a lot of people when they find out what's the true heart of Inkster. And what the people of Inkster are all about. And I've made so many good friends in the time that I've represented Inkster on the county commission, having been in the state senate and the state house and on the Westland City Council. I can truly say that Inkster is one of my favorite places. I really can. And I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of an update. It's not really a farewell, but it's going to sound like that, I guess, because as everyone probably knows, when the districts changed to the county commission, my district was changed in that I lose Garden City and I lose Inkster. And the latter is probably the one that's the hardest for me. And I just I jotted down some notes today, and pardon me for sort of reading, but as I said, many of, if not all of everyone sitting here has probably heard that the districts have changed and my district has changed. I'm picking up the southeastern part of Westland that I did not have before and a southern part of Livonia. And I just wanted to recap a few things that we've been able to accomplish together, all of us, and I really appreciate everybody on the council and all that you do. And when there's tough times, Inkster gets tougher. We have to get tougher, and we do too, as those that represent Inkster. And I just wanted to say that some of the things that I feel that I was able to accomplish that I'm proud of, and a lot of this came directly from citizens and members of the council that had contacted me, which I hope people don't underestimate when they make a phone call, that it has impact. And it has always had my ear when someone calls me from any of the cities that I represent, especially their elected officials. But I was able to get a long needed upgraded traffic light with a left turn light at Cherry Hill and Inkster. It's a couple of years back now, 3 or 4 years now, I believe, in the repaving of Inkster, or repaving of Middle Belt Road from Cherry Hill all the way to Inkster. It's going to be coming. It's going to be coming. We approved it last full board meeting, the funding, the contract for that project. So Cherry Hill from Inkster to Middle Belt will be done. And so that makes the entire stretch from Wayne Road east, since I've been on the commission, once that's done, it'll mean the whole section has been completed and repaved. Also, a new sidewalk from the senior towers on Inkster Road north to the end of Colonial Park was completed. I don't know how many times I drove by there and I saw seniors in wheelchairs and those that are walking with canes trying to get north of the towers there. And it was just mud. It was either mud or ice or snow. So that's been done. That was done a few years ago. And it was a partnership between the county and the city and completing that. Roughly $40,000 of my discretionary parks grants over the 7 years that I've been commissioner have gone to Inkster for projects that they chose to do. Repaving of Inkster Road south of Michigan Avenue to Annapolis is by the county is underway, as everyone has been able to tell. And I know Sandy probably for certain. And I just was through there yesterday, and I check up on these projects, and some of them take longer than I think they should. And I know I hear from citizens telling me that it's taking longer than they think it should. In particular, Wayne Road, south of Ford Road down to Cherry Hill. But this one will probably be a little longer because they have all the drains they have to. They have had to raise up to meet the top of the new surface when it's put in. Repaving of Inkster Road, like I said, south down to Annapolis is going to be done. It's underway currently. I delivered during COVID face masks and test kits to our seniors, and with the help of Steve Chisholm, Councilman Chisholm, he came out and helped me deliver those, and Sandy. And then there was also one of the other things that I was able to do with Kroger's support, Kroger grocery store chain. I made a contact there years ago when they closed a location in Garden City that I was able to call on at a time of need when I knew people needed food. And I've been able to help stock the 2 food banks in Inkster, as well as the other cities that I represent. And I'd always divide it up into as equal as possible and make sure I got them delivered. And I think it helped maybe feed a number of people. And I also, the major renovation at Colonial Park. I know, Mayor, it's been a big thing on your to-do list. That is underway. Right now, it's the preliminary. I think they're moving a lot of groundwork. And there's also, I know, big improvements coming to the rec center. And that's something the county's been supportive of. And finally, as I said, we're going to have Cherry Hill completed. I just want to say thank you to everyone for their understanding, cooperation, and support over the last 6.5 years. And I want all those who are present here tonight and everyone who will view this on cable later to know how honored I've been to represent this community. I hope you'll agree that I've tried to represent you in a way that makes you proud and takes care of my community the community that I love. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Mr. Mayor,
Please.
before you
Please,
go,
yes. Go ahead, Councilwoman Welly.
I could just cry. Okay? I could just break down and cry. Ever since I began working within the city of Inkster, you have been one of those people who has, number one, done something politicians rarely do, and that's keep their word. Okay? You have worked so hard with this city. There has never been anything that I've brought to your attention that you haven't immediately tried to rectify or find some sort of resource that would make it better. I am devastated that you will not be our representative anymore. And all I can say is that I'm still going to call you because I know I'll get a straight answer, okay?
All right.
But I will miss you dearly. You have been great, okay?
Thank you.
Very good.
I appreciate that very much.
You're not going too far
Sure.
because I believe that Inkster just picked up 2 seats that we can count on with Kinesic. Hopefully David is successful. And of course you, still part of the commission, right?
Right, I am on the commission. Well,
Yeah, so-
it's always going to be something in my heart to help Inkster as much as I possibly can.
There you go.
And it's always a lot of folks don't understand, and it's not anything personal, but on the commission, Detroit gets its own pot of money for virtually everything, and that's why I have always fought for the the cities that don't get their own money directly from the federal government, and Inkster is one of those, that they get their fair share of what comes into the county for disbursement among the 43 communities in Wayne County. And so sometimes it put me at odds with some people on the commission sometimes, and sometimes the administration. But I believe very strongly that we have to look at all the communities that we represent. And we all have to make sure that those communities are well taken care of. That's
Thank
all.
you so much.
I'll always fight for you.
Anyone else? Please.
I just wholeheartedly concur with Councilwoman Wiley. She took the words out of everybody's mouth, I would say, speaking in those terms. But thank you for all that you do and all that you will do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you so much.
Uh,
All right.
I just wanted to point out that Council Member Denard, sorry, I'm thinking about what Sandy just said. What Councilman Shaw had reached out to me to ask me about Cherry Hill, and I sort of wanted to keep it a surprise that I've got it confirmed, and not only it confirmed, but we approved the contract to do the remainder of Cherry Hill. So that should be done before the end of this year, this construction year. I'm sure hoping that, I know they're short on manpower and they're having problems with the contractors, but they have promised me that it will get done before the end of this year. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
all.
much.
Chair, Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir, please.
I just wanted to make a quick comment on Commissioner Anderson. I remember when I first got elected to council I think that was in 13, and himself and Richard LeBlanc, they were the first people that, came out to our council meeting. And, I can always remember them sitting right over here. And, I can say this about Commissioner Anderson, that he has always been the same person that I met several years ago. And I want you to continue to keep doing what you're doing and continue to be that same person. Don't deviate, from various things, You came up to me and you congratulated me when I first got here on council. And I want to thank you for that. And I want to thank you for continuing to fight for the city of Inkster, because you truly are a jewel to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
And he forgot to mention all the senior parties he gives too.
I hope you're gonna keep giving those. We'll make David do it. All right, getting into the agenda, please approach Inktown Riders President Tariq Hunter. And I see you have your VP with you, Jason Turner. Mr. Jason Turner, please approach the podium.
Good evening, Mayor, Council,
You name it.
great citizens of Inkster. My name is Tariq Hunter, president of the Inktown Riders Car Club. We've been established since 2019, and today we're here. We've been to Toledo 2 years straight. It's a car club called Loyal Kings Car Club in Toledo, Ohio. We've won best club 2 years straight. So me and my group decided to do, because we're all about Inkster. Our motto in our club is cars and bikes brings people together. And we're not just a car club, we're a family-oriented organization. We involve our families, we do community work, and we're here today. We want to present this trophy to the city of Inkster. Because when we leave Inkster and go to other places, we're representing Inkster. Not just us, we're representing the whole Inkster.
So,
And it's when we pull up and those people see those tags, pure Inkster. Oh, y'all from Inkster? No, not the SoundCloud. We just steal the whole show. People just gravitate to us, tell us about wonderful things from Inkster. A couple of weeks ago, we did a pull up a Four Seasons nursing home, And sure enough, one of the residents, Miss Kim, was from Inkster. And when she found out, you should have seen this lady dancing. I'm talking about we get this reaction everywhere we go, and we just want to.
And he say, I'm the cocky one.
And we just want to continue to make Inkster proud. Let Inkster know any other organization in the building, anything you got going on, please get in contact with us. Let us know how many and what I do with all our guys, because we're working men, we're working family men. So some of us work midnight jobs, afternoons, and I always put for those that can make it. But we at least have 5 or better pulling up to help our city out, and that's our motto. So I'd like to present this to the mayor and the city of Inkster.
All right, we're gonna take that. So much. That's awesome. Look at that. We're gonna put that
I
in the
don't say, Toby is.
Got another one add to the trophy case.
Mr. Mayor, didn't you have somebody take a picture of you down there with them and the
Okay,
trophy?
come around and we're gonna get a picture.
That's for the book.
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
I got a little saying we always say when we go out, spreading that in-town gospel. That's our thing when we go out.
And you can put that next to the trophy, the picture's next to the trophy. It's a shame you gotta remind me and stuff like that.
And this Sunday, September 11th, is our 4th annual car show at the Inkster High School grounds. It's 9/11, so we're doing a presentation. We're doing a special tribute to our first responders and EMTs. So this is what we're about.
Got a special gift,
Got
special
it.
surprise.
Special gift, special surprise.
Y'all find out that day.
What time does the show start?
Show starts at 12. Starts at 12, over at 8. We got vendors, belts, trophies. So please come out, have fun, enjoy yourselves. Let's enjoy Easter.
Anybody else, they got a classic car to come register. The judge in itself is only going to go from 12 to 5. Although the car show will still be going on, we got to have a cutoff so we can tally the votes and then do the trophy presentation.
Yeah.
All cars are welcome.
All cars.
So with that being said, this is the first year we doing called the under construction trophy. I'm a deal for it. Our cars, because we was there at one point in time, and they see the finished product, and it kind of discouraged them. No, we understand it's a process, so don't keep that thing at home. Bring it up.
Oh, no. Hope to see y'all September 11th.
Council just said they want T-shirts and one of those tracksuits, man. Council said we want T-shirts and one of those tracksuits. So see, you see, you looking dapper. All right.
Attention for size.
All right. Commissioner Stroman.
Me too.
Oh, okay. Commissioner Stroman and Commissioner Moore. Unity in the community. Oh, I was saying, I was getting at. You guys are representing unity in the community, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But you are commissioners. Did you want someone else to come? Did you want other people to come up, Mother Stroman? All the folks as part of the unity.
Person. No.
Okay.
Well, first of all, let me say good evening, Mayor, Council, and also all of our Inkster citizens. So before we get started, we would like to say on August 20th of this year, we had a backpack giveaway. And for those who didn't make it, you missed something so spectacular. It was fantastic how all the organizations came together and just showed out. We're going to put it like that. We showed out. Don't people say that Inkster can't come together? Oh, we came together. and we let them know. We come together I put it like this. You know, everybody says, you know, when God, you ask God for something, he don't come when you want, but he always there on time. So that's the same way Inkster was. We didn't know which way they was coming, but they all showed up on time. So on that note, I just want to say that we're going to present some certificates to all those who volunteered, donated their time, their service, the energy, and to be represented. Also, our personal thank you to our volunteers, the multitude of volunteers, to ensure the success of our project, and we will give them thank you cards at a later date. So unity in the community, by working together, we can all accomplish a lot. So they are inviting you, your organization, to join and make unity of the Inkster community so that we can come together. So the certificate that we're going to give out tonight says the certificate of appreciation presented to for your support during the annual backpack giveaway community celebration on August 20th of 2022. The Unity in the Inkster Community Committee. First of all, the city of Inkster. That's our first certificate coming out right now. Then the next is Mr. Jerome Bibbins. Couldn't have did it without you, Mr. Bibbins. Next, Mr. Darrell Davis, who is part of DPW, and Mr. Antonio Butler, both of them. Next, we have Reverend George B. Williams. We also have Mr. Stephen Chisholm, Mr. Troy Seaton, Mr. James Thomas, the Friends of the Leanna Hicks Library. And this person, I have to give him a little bit more. So, Mr. Tariq Hunter of the Inktown Writers. I'm gonna say this because at the backpack giveaway, he got in the dunk tank. I mean, he was a trooper. When I say a trooper, he raised his hand, and Reverend Williams asked him, he said, "You gonna get in the tank?" He said, "For the city, yes, I will." And he got right in. Him and also the ED from housing, Mr. Cooper. And I must say, they dunked them. When I say they dunked them, they dunked them. So next we have Spring Hill Missionary Baptist Church. We have Mr. Alfonso Wallace, the Inkster Task Force, Inkster Goodfellas, National Christian in Action, okay, the Top Ladies of Distinction, the Community Up Project, Cream Incorporated, Middle Manor Block Club. Also, Inkster Housing Commission, Inkster Housing Resident Council, Hearts That Care, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc., Smith Chapel AME Church, St. James United Methodist Church, Face to Face Ministry, which if it hadn't been for Face to Face Ministry, they were giving out light bulbs, and that was so fantastic. We really appreciate it. There was a lot of people that needed bulbs for their home. Miss Antoinette Long, Mr. Aaron Cooper, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority, Inc., HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, Wayne County Health Department, the National Kidney Foundation, Beaumont Teen Health Center, and Home Incorporated. They gave out clothes. So their kids, they include clothes, shoes. I mean, there was a lot of things. So as I said, all these people contributed, and we do have our volunteers. So as I said, yes, I did. And I thank everyone that's on our list. Part of these people are part of Unity in the community. So all the ones that are not, we look forward to working with you because, you know, we have Thanksgiving coming. So, you know, so we want to make sure that everybody gets fed this year like we did last year. Got you, Mayor, on the turkeys. Okay. And also, while I am standing here real quick, this is not a Unity in the community group, project, but this is a community project. So they're looking at trying to do something for Halloween for the kids. We want to try to do a Halloween forest spook. That's when we decorate the park, actually to scare the little tights. Brookside Park. So, you know, you will get some more information, but considering the last time you came and you know they were falling off the stage because they were so scared. In the Simmons building, we decided we better bring them down into the park so that nobody gets hurt. So you will be getting more information about that.
It's with the Inktown Riders.
And it's also, Inktown Riders has already committed to helping. So we're just looking for other organizations to help so we can be able to do this. Yes. Anything I missed? All righty.
Good, thank
Thank
you guys
you.
for your service.
Oh, I'm sorry. So this is Ray Brown from Hearts to Care. This is Miss Ann Gross from Middle Manor Park Block Club.
Go ahead, Ray, and say what you got going with your Hearts to Care since he introduced you.
And you know who this is. This is Commissioner Stroman, and also he represents Task Force. So you know, so we're gonna put it like that. All right, thank you guys.
You can just give those to the clerk, she could have given it to us, but that's okay, go ahead, you're around now. Thank you. Did you know we have this one with the?
Yeah, that's not true.
Oh, I got a special input for you.
Thank y'all, the body, Commissioner Brown from Park and Rec. This year we had a summer camp. It was magnificent in the Green League. And I want to give a special shout out to the director for allowing me to lead it, to get the kids. And we had about 40, 50 kids. He also fed them for free, so it was amazing. I mean, these kids, they actually put down their phone and got engaged. So we took them to the Romulus Rec Center. We took them to the Inkster Skating Ring, and also to the DIA to learn. And instead of them being on their phone on game, they was taking actual pictures and everything. They was so engaged. So I would just like to thank the board, I mean, the body and everything for allowing me to be involved. I know I only got 2 minutes. I see what's going on in the community, and I just love what's going on. My nonprofit is about sharing and seeing people who just doing stuff just to do it, not because of the cameras. So October 15th, I was having an award, community awards. It's just for the people who just do stuff in and out, not just to be in the camera, just because they love their city. So I'm just trying to put out stuff. So I was getting with the special project of Inkster and trying to get everything going. So I have more information, but stuff that I'm giving out, I am doing like donations because this is for people with, I'm a behavioral health specialist. So there's family out there that really need it, that their parents is, have special needs, and 13, 14-year-olds is really take care of the home. So with the money, and I make sure that all the receipts, but with the money, I want to go to these homes and deal with these people and make sure the people who really need it get it. Good work. So,
Any questions? Keep up the good work, sir. Thank you so much. All right. We got through that. That's good. I like all the good news. All right, consent agenda. What's your pleasure? I am saying that right? Consent agenda. What's your pleasure?
So move, Mr. Chair.
Is there support?
What?
Moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Ayes have it, motion carries. Boards and commissions. Anyone for boards and commissions?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, please.
I was looking just recently for the boards and commissions to review the beautification committee.
Mhm.
Well, did we ever get that resolved? The amount of members that are on there, and that we kind of sort of think over appointed.
Are you talking about the beautification committee? Or are you talking about the aging commission on aging?
You know what? I'm confusing the two. I'm sorry. We got plenty of vacancies on the beautification committee.
Commission on Aging. I think everything that we have now is pretty much solid.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did have 2 persons whose names were brought to my attention. I don't believe they turned in an application or anything like that to the clerk's office,
Okay.
but I just would like to make it public now, and then I guess we can follow up and get the information later.
What is that? Which one?
Beautification committee.
Okay, I have objection on that.
Oh, hold on one second. We haven't even got there. Yeah. It was the councilman's force.
I just had 2 names. Like I said, I didn't know if there were any vacancies or not.
Yeah, on the beautification committee?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We got plenty of vacancies.
Okay. This
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just want to speak on that though.
Okay, please.
just wanted to bring the names up now, and then I guess we could follow up later. Not asking for a vote or anything, but Bernice Skeen and Christine Day.
You wanna let's do it.
I don't have an application or anything for them. That's all I was saying.
It's for beautification. I don't think anyone that would object to that. I understand the process, right?
Mr. Mayor,
Is that what you want to
them the
object to?
same two that should have been brought before this council.
What do you mean they should have been?
Well, they put in for them, you know, and they called me. They put in for, but I talked with the clerk today. You know, she couldn't find the letter or whatever it was.
Okay.
But them the same two that's supposed to be coming for me
Okay.
today.
Okay.
Then I yield.
So, well, why don't you make a motion and you support it, and we can.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Then I make a motion that we appoint. I'll do them one by one.
Yeah.
Make a motion that we appoint Bernice Skeen to the beautification committee.
Or
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Next one.
And the second one is I make a motion that we appoint Christine Day to the beautification committee.
support.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. Motion carries. All right. Good.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Anybody else?
Mr. Chair, now,
Please.
with the,
Knew you had both of them.
did we finish the DDA? Is
Go
that
ahead. I'm sorry, sir.
the DDA? Did
Uh-huh.
we finish that, or I know you was talking about that we needed some appointments to the DDA to be able to possibly get
Yes.
funds?
So David, I don't know if you guys saw the email from the attorney, and he's actually out sick tonight. And hope he recovers quickly. But at any rate, as it relates to just the formation of the DDA and the representation of the DDA, having to one appointee has to live in the area, and then the other one should be stakeholders from the area, whether they're business owners or people that actually works for someone in that area. So with that, the clerk and we need to send out letters to those commissioners that's seated now, and then have them come in and then make sure that they do have some type of, whether it's stake in that area or they at least live in the DDA. And then from there, those members that's, of course, get through that process, we keep those members, and then the other members we would have to appoint. So I will bring those appointments to you all for, my recommendation, and then you would, vote them up or down. Did you have someone that you were thinking?
No, I just wondered if you know.
Yeah, I know that we're working to get through that process because, we're looking to be a redevelopment-ready community. And that's one of those markers that we have to check off as it relates to having that composition of that board, and then, of course, having that board active.
And that's where I was going with it, because, we definitely want to be ready.
Yeah, for sure. So we definitely are gonna be working on that sooner rather than later. Anyone else? No, did we get the resume for Cheryl Bradford? Did we get the resume out to everyone for Cheryl Bradford? We didn't? Okay. All right, so let's make sure that we get that for everyone, get that out to everybody. That way we can make that appointment, because I've been seeing Ms. Bradford here every meeting, and we're good to see you here. We want you here every meeting. No, we want you here every meeting, so. But I know that you're looking forward to being appointed to one of our commissions. All right, anyone else? You're in the news, and I'm just waiting, and Senator Pohanke, she's still here, and I told her, just like I told Congresswoman Tlaib, until we receive the check in our hand in Inkster, there's no sense of celebrating. So, me and her, we've been going back and forth about this. We just received, for the most part, the process as it relates to the application for the 2.5 million for the rec center. So, that was the big check presentation because we know that the money's ours now, and the money is not anything that we have to reimburse. It's a line that's going to come directly to the city of Inkster. So then we go from there with the vetting process and all that. And because the county's already been involved with the first initial part of it, we're going to have the county pretty much pick up and help us, and they're willing to help us as it relates to making sure that we create the right contractors and all of that good stuff and kind of oversee that process with us. So because it's major, and we want to get that 1.2 in our hands first. So we know that the budget is supposed to activate October 1, and from there, they'll do their process, but it won't be a reimbursement. That money also will come directly to us in our coffers. So once that happens and we get that in writing and we know that the money's coming to us, then we'll make all those necessary announcements and get the community engagement and all of that stuff, because we want to make sure that we have everybody's input. But one of the biggest drivers of this is that we want our Inkster Historical Commission, because we do have some commissioners and we do have people that really love the city, that really want to, see our history on display, that have been displaying our city, and whether it's their basement or whether it's their yard, we want to bring it all to one central location. We know that we have a lot of stuff. A lot of our memorabilia from Inkster High School is down at the African American Museum, and it's in storage and it hasn't been displayed. So we want to get that back, and then go from there. So know that those things are coming, but we just want to make sure that we cross the T's and dotting the I's before we really just go all the way in. So at any rate, as it relates to the Historical Commission, if anyone in this community wants to be a part of that process, like we were just talking about before, you need to submit your resume to the city clerk and then fill out the application to become a board member. Okay? All right, anything else? All right, moving right along. Getting off into new business, city clerk.
So the first item would be to consider authorizing the administration to tentatively approve a contract with DVM Utilities, Inc. for the Outfalls CSO Elimination Phase 1 project in the amount of $10,395,404 plus a 6% contingency of $623,724.24 for a total of $11,019,128.24 for construction, contingent upon successful financial arrangements with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund Program.
What's your pleasure?
Support.
Is it moved?
You moved.
Oh, I never moved. I moved. I'm sorry.
Moved and,
Support for discussion.
okay, support and discussion, please.
I need more detail.
Please. Director Bivens, approach us, thank you. Is it something, a question that you have for him, or did you just want him to kind of explain?
Give an outline of
Okay, give an overview.
what this is all about.
So,
Make sure you're speaking to the mic, sir. Thank you.
Roughly 14 years ago, I believe when the mayor was on council, we were approached by then MDEQ, and they were pushing us to build another basin in the city of Inkster, which would be over here in the Eastern Outfalls. And at the time, we presented to them that we were a city in distress and hardship. So we were a city distressed and in hardship at that time, so they backed off of it. So I have continued going to meetings with Eagle now, and so they've come up with a resolution that they're gonna help us, and that's where we got the $20 million bond that we went in for. And this is part of that project. instead of us having to build a $22 million basin, we're gonna do it in phases, and we're just gonna put it in the ground, which is a whole lot cheaper than a $22 million basin. So the eastern outfalls goes from John Daly and Carlisle all the way up to Michigan Avenue, all the way to Beach Daly. And that's what we're doing, is we're eliminating the outfalls there, which is combined sewers. So we're separating the sewers, sanitary and storm. That's why you see before you that we're putting in 2 new 60-inch storm sewers this year in phase 1, and there are 4 more phases to go behind that. And like I explained to you in orientation, when it's all said and done, the Carlisle pump station will be upgraded to a mini CSO basin. And that's to help with the flooding in this area.
Okay.
Anything else? Go ahead, Councilman Wiley.
At the end of the thing, she mentioned some money that we're getting from some other place. No?
We got approved for the $20 million bond from Eagle. This is part of that $20 million.
So I think what the councilwoman is referring to, it says here, upon successful financial arrangements with the Clean Water State Revolving Fund. What does that mean?
That is the bond. It's part of the state revolving fund from Eagle. So the reason why this contract is being approved tentatively, because we were awarded $8.2 million for this project, and as you can see, it came over by 28% over what we awarded. So we went back to the state to ask for more money. So the state recommended that I bring this before you guys to do it tentatively based on us giving more money. If they don't provide us with more money, then I will have to downsize that project and eliminate some stuff so we can come in compliance with the $8.2 million that we actually got.
Okay, but we did get $8.2 million.
That's right. Yeah, that was part of the $20 million.
That's not us paying anything back or anything like that. It's just that the project went over the allotted amount.
We have a bond. The bond is gonna go on the tax roll. We have a $20 million.
Don't tell me that. I don't wanna hear that.
But that's what we have, man. That's what was approved. It's a bond.
Yeah, well, I just prefer gifts. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Mayor?
Anything else?
Anything else?
When was that voted on? That was a while back. When was that? You remember?
Back in the spring.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Okay.
That's why we came out to 20 million. We have some projects in the north, we have some projects in the south, southwest, southeast, in the northeast, and the northwest.
And that's gonna help mitigate a lot of the flooding
And
water
improve
pressure.
some of the water infrastructure too. So it's a lot that we're doing. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bivens, it might help the public if they saw the outlay that you gave council, remember, with all those different projects that ended up being $100 and some odd million worth of work that needed to be done.
Yes.
So it might help if that was somewhere so they could take a look at it and see all the different things and what the estimated costs are. Because one of these things that a lot of people do not understand is that the longer you wait, the more it costs.
That's right.
Everything gets greater as the time goes on. Because I imagine if we had done this 14 years ago when it first came out, we'd be spending a whole lot less.
We're playing catch up.
Yeah, okay.
Because we
But
haven't.
it just might be easier for them because, I mean, I have difficulty putting it all together sometime unless I'm just sitting there looking at it and reading it. So that might be something you want to do.
Yeah.
Just for the edification of the
We can do that.
I
people.
agree.
Yes, sir.
And even to that point, let's just go ahead and just do a outline with a letter and just pop it in the water bill.
Okay.
Send it to everybody.
All right.
Okay? All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
All right.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carried. Item B.
To consider approval of the City of Inkster Commission on Aging senior picnic at Wheatley Park on September 16th from 11:30 a.m. until 2:30 p.m.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Support? Moved and properly supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it, motion carries. All right, this brings us to our public comment section. City Clerk, you have the clock, please. Before we get to the clock, the chair will recognize Councilman Emeritus, your pro tem Ernest Hendricks, District 5, whose the chamber is actually named after. Please, sir. I was gonna bring you to a presentation, but I knew you would say that you know, so put your name on here, so.
I wish you wouldn't identify that way because
I'm sorry, sir.
I still got people calling me and I have to refer them.
I give them your phone number.
Thank you.
Trying to reel you back in.
I'm only limited to 1 minute. Have you ever known me to speak for 1
I
minute?
can't limit you to.
Okay, let me make it quick.
I'll gavel.
The critical things I see is that I hoped that all of the council, at least riding through their district at least once a month to find out, and see what's going on as far as ordinance are concerned and upkeep of the city. Because I've said before that when a person comes to the community and want to make an investment, they don't just come here with suit and tie on. They ride through the city to see how you guys are taking care of the city and whether or not you're up to date, and they'll come to council and find out, how they're acting. And that's important. So I hope they're still doing that. I don't, one area that I think is just, needs a lot of attention is from Michigan Avenue to Annapolis and from Inkster Road to Beach Daily.
South Michigan.
From Michigan Avenue to Annapolis and from Inkster Road to Annapolis. To Beach Daily.
Okay.
Okay, that area is atrocious. It looks like a pigsty. And I ride through the city quite a bit, and I have people calling me, and I just tell them to call the council person. I'm through with that stuff. But it's still my city. I'm still here. We have these people that are really these different organizations trying to do things for the city to uplift it, and then they got to look at this, junkyard. Come on, folks. We can do better than that. You see, but I think that council needs to do more, and I hope they are doing more than just sitting up here pontificating. But they are out there taking an interest in the community. And you don't take an interest in just by sitting up here. You take an interest out there. As to where the action is. That's where the real action is. And you come up here to resolve the issues, okay? And so I guess my 1 minute is up, so I'm gonna give up now.
No, please.
But the other thing is critical that my good friend over here needs to deal with, that brush pile.
We're working on that. I think it's almost down. Yeah, we're
I
working
know
on it.
you're working on it, and that's good.
Yes, sir.
But
I heard you. You told me.
the problem I have with it is that the contractors, all of that stuff is not from citizens. You got piles of chips sitting outside the gate. That's no citizen puts that out there. That's contractors do that. So we can find a way, even if you have the auxiliary police, and I still assume that they're active,
Yes, sir.
every once in a while ride through and catch some of these suckers, catch some of these people.
I did find out who did that though.
You know how to cuss, Ernie?
You told me about the chips. I did find out who did
The
that.
chips,
Yeah, I
but
did find out.
and they're big logs,
Yes.
that's not citizens. I can see citizens doing it. I'd rather have them put it there rather than put it on the street in front of their house. But that's citizens,
Yeah.
not these people outside or these contractors that are doing it, that are doing the work and what have you. That's not the way it is to be done.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's all of my list for now.
Okay.
And you will see me later unless some of this stuff is corrected. I will be back again and again and again and again until it's done.
Yes, sir.
Because I live in the city and I just, the different organizations and people that are coming here, like the young men who are doing this evening, the writers, I think it was, give them something to look forward to and say, look at my city and this is what I'm doing for them. They're doing a great job in what they're doing and volunteering, but help them out.
Yes, sir.
So they can see a beautiful city, a city that cares about their efforts, okay?
Yes, sir.
I get a
So
clarification,
much
Mr.
for now.
I want to get the boundaries. You were talking about some boundaries.
Michigan Avenue, south side,
The one that I said,
South side of Michigan Avenue,
Inkster Road
south side of Michigan Avenue,
Okay.
to East Daly.
Michigan Avenue, Inkster Road. Wait a minute. That's
Michigan to Indianapolis.
no, from Michigan Avenue to Annapolis.
to Annapolis.
Inkster
South
Road.
side of, east side of Inkster Road to Beach Daily. That's the pits. Now, I've seen other areas that are just as bad, but that is the area that I saw that is the worst of all of them. Looks like a junkyard. Cars all parked in the backyard, lined up with weeds growing all up top of them. You know, it's ridiculous. And you got that house up on corner of Carlisle and Beach Daily. It's about to fall apart.
Yep.
About to fall down. You know, you need to get on the people that own it and make them tear down and charge them.
Yeah, so unfortunately, and that's what I'm actually working with the Westwood Public School District and the superintendent and I've been trying to figure out how we can get creative with that because the city actually owns that property. And a while back, I believe it was about a decade ago, we stopped our demolition program here in the city of Inkster to save money. But of course, it's just created more blight because the city-owned properties, wherever they may go through the tax roll, they may come back to the city and they're burnt out or they're just, dilapidated. We don't have the funding in the budget to actually do it, so we rely on the community development block grant. And it's only so much money in the community development block grant. Those 38 communities is fighting over $4 million. So we're trying to get creative. Jerome, Director Bivens and I have been just looking at how we need to actually put money into the budget for demolitions, for stuff like that.
I understand that, Mr. Mayor, but what I'm speaking of doesn't take money. It takes people getting off their butt and riding through the city and seeing what the problems are and getting the ordinance officers or someone to mitigate those issues.
Yes, sir.
And that's council's job,
Yes, sir.
okay?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if they're not doing it, we get somebody else up here to do it, okay?
Yes, sir. All right, sir. Thank you so much. All right, moving right into it. Paul, please. Paul Longley. That's it. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I live in that area. It is a dump. Tired of looking at it, especially my neighbor's house across the street at 25920 Colgate. Took 4 years, 4 long years to get rid of a U-Haul out of the backyard. There's still junk back
Give
there.
me that address one more time.
25920 Colgate.
Okay.
Now, we're here to talk about what happened July 3rd with the Inkster Police Department. Same neighbor that lives in that house. I was taking a constitutionally protected activity. I was taking a picture of the dog in the doorway. She came out, threatened me, threatened to sick the dog on me and tear me up like it tore my mama. I called 911. I FOIA'd those phone calls twice. She came onto my property after that, threatening me on my own property. In the instance of speaking with the officer, they spoke with me. They go across the street, talk to her, and they start laughing about my mom being tore up by the dog. I have it on my body cam. So I decided I wanted to FOIA their body cams. Lo and behold, they erased it. After the officer came back across the street, I wanted his name and badge number. He refused to give it to me. I told him I want his name and badge number. You'll get it when I'm done. No, that's not how it works. As the officer said, you know what? You're not going to cooperate? I'm leaving. I said, if you do, it's going to be very bad on you. Turns around and walks away. I go, want your name and badge number? He goes, you don't want to know me. That's a threat. That's the second time me and my family have been threatened by Inkster Police Department. I've called your office numerous times to speak with you. You don't return phone calls. As the officers are leaving, she yells out, "The coloreds are winning. Ha, ha, ha." Racial intimidation. I'm tired. She's in the house illegally. Nobody's doing nothing, especially you. Especially when I call and I ask. I need help. All I get are threats. What do you plan on doing about it?
This has been before the judge, correct?
No,
As it relates to the civil matter you had with the dog?
no,
It hasn't?
no.
I believe that it has.
What, over her getting a ticket for an unlicensed dog? We haven't been, they're just now starting to look into the dog attack.
And we'll take into consideration with everything that you said as it relates to the police. And we'll talk with the chief about that. We'll follow up.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, you want resolution, so we'll figure out exactly what happened.
I want the
Make some
resolution.
accusations on the record,
Accusations? Well, the accusations I have on my body cam, home surveillance,
okay?
camcord, you know, all that stuff. I have the
Definitely
evidence.
sounds like a civil matter, as it relates to, what's happening with your neighbor. As it relates to the ordinance stuff, we can definitely get into that, and then of course with the police officers and their behavior, if that's the case. But you're asking me
Last I
what can I
checked,
do
you're ahead
now?
of the, you're top dog, right? The police chief listens to you, right?
Well, at the same time, the police are the police, and they have a job to do, and they're not here to defend themselves. So as it relates to that date and that matter, we'll look into it with you, and we'll figure out exactly what happened.
Okay, so why can't you return my phone calls when I call your office?
I haven't received a call from you.
I got it on my phone, I do. I can talk to your assistant for about half an hour.
Well, he's sitting right there.
No, this was the young woman.
So let's make sure that we get him on the calendar, please. Okay, all right. Shirley Hankerson?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
I just want to follow up on the problems that are on Middlebelt as far as the blight and how it looks. I want to thank the young men that actually did come out and mow the lawn all up and down Michigan Avenue from Michigan Avenue to Cherry Hill, but they didn't pick up any debris. And we have sidewalks in that area, and our kids walk back and forth, and especially adults as well, trying to catch the bus. And it just needs to be cleaned up
Okay.
really bad. And
Middle belt between Michigan Avenue and Cherry Hill, you said?
Yeah, finish. Let me just finish. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
We'll
But
go
yeah,
ahead.
but it's other than that, I mean, they did a decent job, doing that, but all along the fence line, you can't walk because the trees are overlapping, and there's just no way that citizens can get up and down the sidewalks.
Okay,
All right, but I do want to thank them for cutting the grass.
okay.
But it just
Are you
needs to be.
talking about the trees overlapping as it relates to the park on the side of the rec complex
No,
or down
on
by-
the
between Middlebelt Baptist and Cherry Hill?
on the west side of the street. I mean, on the east side of the west side.
Okay, okay, I got
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, and that's the biggest problem that we have. And the sidewalks just can't be used because it's just like they got blinders on it. And I know they're doing the best they can,
okay.
but they still need to just do some detail work on the sidewalks. I appreciate it, and the citizens would too.
Yes,
I mean,
ma'am.
because now we have sidewalks, and they just need to be used on both sides of the street. Because where the homes are, there is a sidewalk that runs almost. There might be a portion of it where there's no sidewalk, but for the most part, there are sidewalks on that side of the street as well.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
definitely get on top of it.
All right, and I spoke with
Mr. Bivens, okay,
Mr.
she
Bivens
see me
already.
looking, okay.
I told him I wasn't gonna throw him under the bus,
Yes, ma'am.
all right?
We're gonna get on top of it. Thank you. All right. One Abney? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
Well, I'm coming today to make an announcement that I am running for the Wayne Westland School Board member. And I have letters for council and mayor asking for your support, your endorsement. I'm sorry, I'm getting dinner with them. So, the reason I'm running is because during COVID, I was working as a parent support partner for Starfish Family Services. And our families needed so much as where education was concerned. I had to navigate so many different systems just to support the families. And so when we think about Wayne Westland schools, we think about they serve as Wayne Westland, Inkster, Dearborn Heights, Canton, Romulus. And to my understanding, from my grandchildren been going there now 15 years. So in the last 15 years that I know of, they only had one person that lived in Canton that ever been on their board. So everybody on their board is from Wayne and Westland. And we all know Inkster looks a little bit different. Our needs in Inkster is different. And that's why I'm asking for the mayor, the city, and the council support. The election is November the 8th. I have a fundraiser on September the 18th at the Simmons Center. Maybe 11 to 2, I'm not sure. My information is not printed up yet. I just confirmed the date for the Simmons Center this afternoon. So, but you know, I just want y'all to think about it and let me know. And I need all of our educators, ex-educators, current educators. I need everybody to get on board with this. I need your support mentally, financially, and I also want to start a group of 10, 15, 20 to go to all the school board meetings. We need to show up. A few years ago, me and Jennifer Williams and I was in this 10-week program, building a community. And one of the things that we learned in this community workshop is you had to show up if you want anything. And the task that we worked on was getting a stoplight. And it takes all of us. So 5 people can't do it. We need 10, 20, 25, and we need to show up for our kids in schools because they just getting what's left over. Wayne Westland got an excellent program now. They can get 60 credits in college before they graduate high school. And if we're not there demanding it for our children, they're gonna be last to get it.
Thank you so very much.
All right.
So very much. And you can hand that right to the city clerk.
Oh, they got that name on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Go ahead. All right. And Ms. Shelby, approach, please. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
The last time I was here, I was asking about the renovation of Michigan Avenue. That money she was talking about, that $1.2 million for the library, was supposed to be a community center. And the reason I was telling you is because I went back through my 2014 minutes and saw the design, and you said it was just a picture. If it was just a picture, how come we getting $1.2 million for a community center with the old library? All of that's supposed to have been the new part of Michigan Avenue. And that money will not be given to the city. It will go in this state budget, they will vote on it October the 1st. You will not get that money till 2024. How do I know? Because I keep up with stuff
Ms.
that,
Shelby, I love you. I love you, but everything that you're saying right now is not factual.
no,
And
I'm
we can have
talking
a
about the money
conversation
she
off the
was
record.
talking about.
But that money's in the budget for this year.
It's in there for this year?
I mean, it
Well,
doesn't
the
have anything to do with-
publication came out when it was funded last month, and I went to Timothy Williams and I asked him, did he know anything about it? Because it was sent to me. And it said it would go to the state.
We should probably just have an off-book conversation.
Okay, we
I
need
mean,
to.
and then we can sit
The
down.
other thing is, since we had the lights out and everything last week, is the city, you know, where the leaves, bushes fell off or trim, not whole trees, fell down in the front. Tomorrow is trash day, right? Well, with anybody in the city, because a lot of the limbs are fell on the sidewalks. Can the city help the citizen getting them up or something go by?
Yes, ma'am. And do you have an address in particular? Because I know.
All around the city on the sidewalks.
Okay.
All
I know that Mr.
around,
Bivens
even
and his team
coming.
has really been working
It's
on that.
bushes, it's not trees.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Is that something? I mean, I know that we've been doing that already, but. Okay. Yeah. We're definitely doing that. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Be safe. Yes. Get with Ms. Shelby and get her on my schedule immediately, please. Thank you. All right. Last but not least, beautification. I see the We Rise program. Mr. Bishop, please.
Good evening, family.
Good
Love
evening.
you all.
Good evening.
Yeah, most of all, I want to speak on We Rise program. It's going to start next week. I'll be running Mondays and Wednesdays from 4 to 7 at Malcolm X or Mr. Simmons.
Okay.
Yeah, right there on Carlisle.
Yeah.
Okay, right there on Carlisle. And so I just hope, people could come in and see what we're doing, trying to help the kids along, especially, some of the shortcomings, in our community because of gangster clothes our school down, Well, anyway, Adolph Snyder. Well, anyway.
What's that date again, though, that you said the program started?
Oh, it should start next week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you have a particular date?
Okay, that'll be,
You say next week, is it like next Monday?
yeah, it's gonna be Monday and,
12th?
okay, Monday and Wednesday, I should start up there.
You know you got a beautification committee meeting too that day, too.
Well, yeah, I drive down there, I run down there,
Okay.
It was good to see, good to see Mr. Hendricks and all that. The first thing he asked me, said, Gabe, where your bib overalls? And my Ringer washing machine broke down and all that, so I and the reason said, why you always wear bib overalls? My old man, he whipped my butt and my hips off, so I ain't got nothing to hold up. So, well, anyway, I know I might be saying a little too much information, why, but he born in 1986. He believed in women, but he made a good man out of me.
Yes, sir.
And when he's gone now, he didn't hear that. I want to tell him that's the reason why I wear my bib overalls or either my suspenders.
He'll probably watch the meeting again.
Well,
so.
okay, well, he's gone. Okay, I love y'all,
Love
and
you too.
I want to thank Unity and the community for recognizing the Inkster Goodfellas, for the support we gave them and all that, and thank you.
Thank you so much. Keep up the great work, sir. Appreciate you. All right, Councilman Wiley. Councilman Chillum.
Yes, I just have a quick question, and I actually meant to ask this when all these inquiries were coming in.
Okay.
A public notice went out about, I guess, water shut off for a certain area, but it didn't necessarily say what area, and there's been a lot of confusion from the public because they just been running rampant with it.
I'm glad you brought that up. But go ahead. I know I saw that notice.
I don't have a flyer. I had just wrote down a note. I got it right here though.
I know that. Go ahead. I know you had a lot going on.
The
Go ahead.
flyer went out and it said that the water would be shut off on Andover. The flyer went out and they said the water would be shut off on Andover and they gave a specific area. And somehow it went through the city as I was shutting the whole city off tomorrow.
Exactly.
The flyer says nothing like that. The flyer, you know, and my project manager, Ms. Maya Roos, proofread the flyer before it went out, and it went out to the specific residents that it was going to affect.
Exactly. It doesn't say all affected areas, but they just been, and it looked like
somebody. So I sit on the board for lead and copper for Wayne County. We had a board meeting today, and we was discussing this, how people pick up the phone and they call people and they tell people stuff, but they don't tell them everything.
Yes, sir.
And so then it gets to spread, because when we got to call into our office today, like we were, you know, that we were shutting the whole city down. There's no way possible that I could shut the whole city down without the mayor knowing.
No doubt. And without the council knowing.
Or without the council knowing.
Sure.
No way I could do that. So it was very detailed.
Probably what we want to start doing, Mr. Bibb, is just go ahead, because I know that we've been really doing a good job of Maya posting it, and Troy's been posting it and all that. But at the same time, making sure that we send it out to the council people.
Okay.
And I know that she does do an email. And that COI for all council, I don't know if it gets to each council person.
Okay.
So we got to make sure that we're going through and do it individually. On top, I'm sorry, man.
Is this a good test for our new robocall policy?
Yeah, there you go. And the robocall. But see, now too, Councilwoman, because the robocalls, we would have to really initiate that where it would be in a block.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it would have to be Andover Street, because it was like Andover. But we would have to gather those numbers that way. A lot of numbers are on cell phones and they change, and we've experienced, I know all of you have used robocalls before, where, you know, for campaigning, and, you know, you'll get people in other cities that you're talking to, unless people actually sign up specifically for that area. So that's the problem.
The last time I used you specified the area.
Yeah, you can.
They collected those numbers.
Yep. And I know they just turn over so much, but we definitely can try that.
I'm just saying,
I'm with that.
it's something you may want to test your new robocall policy on, because we
Yeah.
have not used that as of yet.
Let's do it. And the funding is coming out of the council's budget, right? For
No,
robocalls.
come out of here. He said he was the one.
Oh.
Okay.
No, I'm just messing. I was just messing. I already do that. I was just messing with you. I definitely do that for sure.
You made that point.
Yeah, for sure. But definitely, I think the councilwoman makes a very good point. Let's make sure we get that done too, as well. And I know that you guys knock on the doors in those areas too.
And we did.
So yeah, I know.
Yeah, the people on Andover were well aware.
And I know.
It's just the people that.
Councilman, what did you find that one that you were looking for? You good? The letter? Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked at it and I'm just typing the blurb that I can send back out to all the concerned citizens who inquired and did not pay attention to the first paragraph. We know it went on social media too. And one thing we do have.
Everything we do, we send it to the city clerk and we send it to Troy to put it on all our media outlets.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Last week you got the blurb from me when we had a couple water main breaks where people were going to be without water for the whole night. You know, I sent them out. I called the mayor.
You guys did a really good job on that too, getting them bottled water.
We tried to let people know
that was good.
What's going on.
Mr. Mayor, one of the things I wanted to piggyback on is, I guess, an oversight on our end with social media is it goes out and it goes viral. Everybody doesn't read it for what it is. They skim it, and then we start to get inundated with inquiries. And of course, some of us are actually in the middle of doing other things, and we're trying to be responsive and either communicate that to a resident, say, look, just because you see it on social media, it's a notice that just went out from the city. It's not saying you directly going to be shut down or everybody's going to be shut down. But that's what happened.
No, but you're right though, Councilman. You're right. So even having it to where you put the letter, but just say, like in the first little line, affected areas.
Because this says Andover Street Connection.
You know what I mean?
But
instead of in the letter, you know.
I guess some people might think the Andover Street Connection funnels the whole city.
I can do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, good point.
Thank you.
Anything else, Councilman?
That's all I have.
Councilman Williams?
Yeah, several things.
Yes, sir.
And I just like to say, and I just hope, I don't know, he always come here and address us about, things that's not going right in the city and what we ain't doing and what we should be doing. And then every time we get it down to the council response, he gets away from here.
What are you talking about?
So somebody tell Ernie Hendricks, I'll be contacting him, okay? Because he mentioned, and I made sure that I write it down. He mentioned Michigan Avenue and Henry Ruff going down to Annapolis.
But he didn't. No, he didn't.
He talked about the wood and stuff over there.
No.
Okay, maybe I got it wrong. Maybe my ears went bad.
You just ready to get somebody, that's all.
No.
Because you said it twice. You asked him and he did make it clear. You said Michigan Avenue to Annapolis.
That's what I'm saying. Michigan
Inkster
Avenue
Road.
to Annapolis.
Inkster Road.
Inkster Road.
Beach Daily.
Okay. All right.
He ain't come on. He ain't come into the greatest district.
All right. I just have to hear because I'll call him tonight before he go to bed. Okay.
Don't do that, sir. Don't do that.
All right.
Don't do that.
I would just like to say to the public, I'll be addressing the people in District 111 on the September the 30th, okay, on the big sidewalk. What we call the big sidewalk, that's right there, Fox Street and Pine, where it runs in. The big sidewalk separates them two streets. So we're going to be there. You all are welcome to come. I'm inviting some special guests. I guess we're going to, fry the grill up. I hope to have the grill fried up, but we can have conversation. And what we really need, a lot of people are complaining about things that's going on in the city and what we ain't doing. It's time that we have conversation. It's time that we have talk, okay? Because I've heard people say a lot of things about what ain't going on in Inkster, and they don't really know. And so they run with it. Well, I heard so-and-so say this, and I heard so-and-so say that. I say, have you went and checked it out? You see what I'm saying? If we spend less time trying to downgrade the city that we live in and come together like unity, okay? And one thing I really love, and it just dawned on me when we had that meeting with planning and council and the people that came out and we discussed some things. And had we had that group long years ago, Harrison probably would be standing today. See what I'm saying? Because people would have looked at it on a professional level and never tore down all them buildings, had absolutely nothing to go back up there. And to me, that was one of them class acts, jealousy acts that want to tear down Harrison. So I'm just saying, places like that we got in here, we need to really continue to move. And I appreciate what they're doing. And we need to really keep on thinking about areas that we have here. Come together and let us reason, okay? We can bicker all day long, but the thing, we don't get the job done. So, and he's here we bring up, because, I know he talked about that wood. and I know people, when they come down, and most people don't go down Henry Ruff because it's a thing that we really need to be talking about, doing that road, the Henry Ruff Road, somehow. And I think most of the bad part.
What you talking about? What are you talking about? Where at? You say Henry Ruff?
Inkster part.
Henry Ruff?
Yeah, but most of the real bad part is on Annapolis. It's on
I know
Westland.
that we had talked about that, and we even had it in the budget before. You talking about?
Okay, I couldn't hear what you said.
You talking about Michigan Avenue down to Annapolis?
I'm talking about the south side.
If you talk about Michigan Avenue to Cherry Hill, that belongs to Westland. Don't belong to us.
Okay.
If you talk about from Michigan Avenue.
I'm talking about Michigan Avenue to Annapolis.
We share that with Westland, and when the dollar amounts came in, I explained to the mayor because he had just came in the office, and I said we couldn't do that project.
Yeah, because it's a shared project, and Westland wants to do half of it. Mayor Wiles, believe me, he's always talking to me about it, but the city, we just can't.
But I thought that was just Annapolis. I'm talking about Henry Ruff.
That's what we're talking about, Henry Ruff.
Okay, so ain't half of the street
is Westland,
and the other half is Inkster?
Right. Yeah.
The dollar amount that project came in for, I could not do.
You cannot do.
He got an estimate in to do it, And the city can't afford to do that at this particular
Okay,
time.
but we do got it on the radar.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, I just need to know that.
We working, and Aaron Cooper's actually meeting. Matter of fact, I'm probably meeting with him tomorrow, the director for housing, and of course, the bigger that.
Yeah, I want to be able to talk about all of that because down there, there's going to be
about helping us to try to fund that,
yeah.
because we got to figure out how to fund it. We don't have the money.
Okay, that's the street.
At the time he
And we know that, of course, we got to finish out Avondale, and then Harrison is a priority. So,
Okay, are we going to be able to finish Avondale?
yes.
Half of it.
We're just behind right now because, just frankly, because of the world and the world circumstances. With everything that's, nobody wants to work. That's everywhere.
Okay, now one more little question I have.
Go ahead.
What about Harrison?
I mean, again, Harrison is part of our priorities.
Okay,
We don't
that's supposed to be
we don't have
scheduled.
the money to do
Just
Harrison.
tell him. Every year. Every year
Every year
he
we
comes
talk
to
about.
me.
Oh yeah, no.
But
doubt.
okay, now you remember now. Tell me if I'm wrong. You remember we talked about when you do Avondale, the next project would be Harrison. But I heard you say something about what I'd rather do Henry Ruff. I mean, John. I'm not Henry Ruff. John Daly.
But we know that we. So here's the thing: we've been kicking the can down the road for so long that everything just looks terrible.
Well, that's true. That because it should have been
that's
done 20
our
years
parks
ago.
included. So it's like here the plan is just that. So we know that Avondale was our main connector between all in the residential areas between all of our cities on both sides, with the Heights and Wayne and Westland, right? So with that connector doing Avondale, we had to also do the infrastructure too. So that's what it's costing us so much, and then the time. Believe me, I'm over on Avondale at least once or twice a day on Avondale right now, just because of all the debris and it looks like a war zone over there. But I know it's gonna be beautiful after it's done. But we know that the contractors are doing everything that they can do. But it's just, again, man, it's the material. We waiting on different material. They put us back 2-3 months. You waiting on, it's just all those factors.
I understand
But
that.
we know Harrison is a main priority.
Right.
And we want the federal government to pay for it. I understand that Harrison is not telling you to understand that, but to the general public, that Harrison is historic. It's a historic street in
Yes, it is.
America. And we've identified it already through the $83,000 that the city, or that the historical commission is focused in on from the state to put a marker on Harrison Street and write out its history, because that's where all the African American businesses were. So I know the plight. We do.
I know it, but I just
we
wondering.
need some federal money for that.
No, I just wondering because it was out when he about a year ago when he was talking about the road that they were going to do Avondale and they were going to do Harrison.
We had a study done.
He never.
I understand that. You don't have the money. You don't have the money.
Never said I was going to do Henry Ruff.
He never said that. So we want to make sure that we just when we're talking, we want to, in all fairness, just be factual. Because he didn't say that. Me and him have been going back and forth.
He
And
first
Harrison,
took
I was like,
office in
Harrison,
November. That was the first discussion me and him had was Henry Ruff. Because Mayor Wild wanted it done.
Yeah, he wanted to do his side, and we was trying to do our side.
I told him the dollar amount. I said we can't do that.
All right, we'll wait till our time comes.
I told Mayor Wild, it's on the record now that we're talking about it. Hey, you can do all Henry Ruff. We don't have a problem with that, as long as you're paying for it. If you want to pay for it, because I'm getting pressure from the pastor over there at International at the church right there in the corner there, in Annapolis and Henry Ruff. What's that?
Annapolis and Henry Ruff.
What is the church over there?
That's
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Burning Bush.
Burning Bush. Yeah. So I'm getting pressure from them as well because they're in Westland.
Right.
But they're affected because it's an Inkster community, and their little side, that little pocket, once you get across Annapolis, it's Westland.
Okay, I just wanted to hear that because when I get ready to speak, I want to know what I'm talking about.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Now, can I do one thing before I have this meeting? Can you do for me? Okay, I need right there on Harrison and Michigan Avenue. I need the sign say Harrison Avenue.
Yeah, we're on that right now. Believe me. Believe me, me and him that had so many conversations. That sign better be up. Because they took the signs down. The state took the signs down.
They don't know where they're at.
When they were doing those cross paths and those walks, they took the signs down.
They closed off Harrison?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
they
didn't
shouldn't have never taken the signs down. That's one of my other pet peeves.
But it's
Stop
hard to
signs,
get one to go back there.
signs in Inkster.
I have to do all of Michigan. There's no street signs on Michigan Avenue except for the two we just dedicated.
You just did a dedication, on Weehawk Street, So that's like the only new signs that we've, based off of what Councilwoman Wiley had initiated.
Everything and getting those orders.
And then they're back ordered so far behind, he just got in new stop signs. You're gonna start seeing those new stop signs popping now.
And I got another order of stop signs coming with 100 poles that we ordered. How long you been asking?
Oh man, a year and a half.
Right.
I mean, you guys are riding through the community, you see what's going on. Stop signs is terrible.
Stop signs
Look terrible. Streets, no signs on them. Come on now. We can do better than that. However, again, when we talk about the community, we have to strategically plan for those things. We just can't expect for them to happen. Mr. Bivens, really, with the people that he has, he's always putting out fires. We're not doing any preventative maintenance. We're always doing like put it out. Right. Oh, this is happening. Right. So now we know. Okay, we need this many signs. We need this many lights. We need this many that. That's what we're working to do now.
Let me ask another question.
No, like I'll give you a prime example. I had to call him last Monday. I had to tell him. I have 4 water main breaks came in before 8 o'clock Monday morning. That's 4 at one time. See what he doing? He was on the phone with me. I said, I gotta call the contractor here. My people will burn out.
These guys working at like 3, 4 in the morning because you're doing new stuff in one area and now the pressure's getting higher in the whole city. Now stuff is popping all over the place. They trying to patch it up and they only got a 10-man crew. So that's a whole nother soapbox, but anyway.
Yeah, because I just want to say this, as I know, living in this city for a long time, I remember the time DPS used to make the signs and put them up. But see, okay, but now what you're saying, you don't have the...
You got one guy that's trying to make signs, fix the trucks, on the water main breaks, cutting grass. You see what I'm saying? So we're trying to...
Yeah, well then I can...
As you get the company in, you get the right to work.
But like you said, you can remember when
you had a whole division of that.
Remember there were 6 divisions in DPS.
You had 6 divisions in DPS. You only got one now.
No more. You have a water department.
That's when we're making these decisions. That's when we have to understand the implications.
So let me ask you another question. So you have to order the signs through somebody else?
Yes, sir.
You still got the metal or the aluminum or whatever it is that you're using. So we don't have this year anyway.
So what do it cost to get a sign, one sign?
Mr. Mayor, can I go sit down?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. I got you. We're gonna have a whole discussion on that. And me and you're gonna ride the city and we're gonna put in some stop signs. Ready?
You gonna put some stop signs?
Hey, you already know me. I don't have no problem with doing it. So you ready? I'm saying we're gonna do it. We get your trailer, boom, we pull up over at DPW, we're gonna make the signs. I'm just messing around.
I got one of them that you can dig the hole with.
That's what I'm saying.
There ain't no problem with me.
Let's get it done.
You know, I challenge you any day.
Well, let's get it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right.
You call it a day.
All right, good then.
Make sure you get on Facebook Live now.
There you go. We're gonna make sure we're high.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on your YouTube. We going on Facebook Live.
All right, that'll be one for the books. You got anything else for me, Councilman? You got anything else for me? Anything else for us?
No, that's it. I just wanna I did tell everyone about the meeting I'm having.
Yes, sir.
So if I need a flyer, they can get them. I left some over there and I'll be hitting my community over that part, okay, over the weekend.
All right. Okay, Councilwoman Washington.
Okay, I have 2, keep it short, I have 2 complaints for the police department, but I see our chief isn't here, so I sent out an email for one, and I'll make sure to send an email out for the second one, or call and contact them. But I'm requesting police presence on Oakwood and Clear Street. There's a lot of speeding and noise complaints, as well as Sherburne.
Oakwood and Clear.
Yep, Oakwood and Clear
The
Street.
chief is actually on patrol because he has it's some type of bug that's going around. And there's deputies out, and like 4 of the officers are out sick. So he's actually on patrol tonight, and that's why he's not here in the representative's night. Just so you all know.
Okay. Yep, I sent that out.
I'll make sure
I
that
sent
he
that
gets
on
that.
Thursday, so.
Okay.
And then Sherborne, noise complaints as well, police presence over there as well.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's all I have for tonight.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Shaw?
I just have a couple of things, Mr.
Go ahead,
Chair.
sir.
I just want to encourage everyone that if you see something, say something. I have some brochures here. 1-800-SPEAK UP. This is Crime Stoppers. Make sure you say something. You can remain anonymous with Crime Stoppers. And also, Mr. Chair, I know that our police department is doing, just as DPS is doing, working several hours. And I want to commend the Inkster Police Department for the things in which they are doing for the community, working long hours. And there was a saying in the police department, as I was looking at a video in a conference, no days unalert. And I know that there's times where police officers are spending numerous hours, and sometimes they can get sleepy, get fatigued, get cranky, all of those things when you have lack of sleep. So I just want to encourage them to continue to stay up, no days unalert, and take care of themselves as they take care of our community. Mr. Chair, I do definitely want to speak, concerning, I'm hoping that the Inkster Police Department maintain their professionalism with all of our citizens, with utmost respect to everyone in the community. Because, these types of things, if it goes in a wrong way, can cost the city much. So I just want to encourage our police department to make sure that they maintain their dignity, maintain their respect, and the respect of our residents that are here in the city of Inkster. Because without our residents, there is no police department. Because it takes all of us, to be together. So I just want to encourage them, Mr. Chair, to make sure that we be respectful to one another. And also, our young kids are going back to school. And I just ask all of us to keep an eye on the children. The time is getting ready to change. It's going to be darker in the morning. They're going to be walking. Wish them well as they, endeavor to be into the classrooms in this time. So keep an eye on the children. Make sure the lights are on, because they need a safe haven if something happens. Make sure that the street lights are on. If you see your street lights out, report it so that we can get the street lights on the street. And even also, they like to daunt out in the streets. I've seen some children, they had school uniforms on and they were daunting out in the streets. So just make sure we stay up and stay aware of our children as they go to school this school year. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. The chair would like to, and I didn't mean to omit you all. Mr. Treasurer, did you have something for the body?
Oh, no, just next week we'll have that ran on, we'll go through all the discussion.
Not next week, because we had a series of meetings. So next meeting, okay. All right, on the 19th. So we'll have the audit presentation. Plant Miranda be here talking about our budget, and also looking at some amendments to the budget as it relates to us staying on track, as we talked about us staying on track. Now, have you guys been meeting as a finance committee? Because I know that the committee has been formed. Have you guys met yet?
Yes.
Let's get a meeting on the books before then with you all, so you guys can get that information. Because I know that you and I, we've been meeting with Plant Miranda at least once a month. So that's important. I know you talk to them every day, but it's important for the finance committee to continue to be involved. We don't want to let that slip by the wayside, okay? City Clerk, do you have anything for us, ma'am? All right. And just, you guys always steal all the thunder. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like to repeat myself, but, I want to make sure that we all understand that it's our responsibility as a community to take care of our community. We put a lot on the people that work in our community because we know we pay them to do so. But at the same time, your porch is your porch. Your yard is your yard. This is our community. So we should, as we expect the highest level of professionalism and service, of course, that's what we demand. And there shouldn't be any disrespect from police officers, from us as council people, from our city clerk, from anybody that works for us, DPW, dealing with our community. At the same time, we have to be respectful too. Let that sink in. We should be respectful too. When we be respectful to one another and treat each other in love and respect, we'll get more and we'll get further together. So I'm looking forward to talking to you, Paul, because I know you've been coming up here for a few meetings, and we want to talk. Believe me, I'm not that person. I'm not dodging anybody. I'll pull up at your house. So if I need to do that, I want to get over there with you, and we're gonna work on it. I hope you guys got on the schedule. You got on the schedule for tomorrow? Okay. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. So we definitely want to work with one another, and definitely solve our issues together in this community. All right, if all minds are satisfied, motion to, sir, you had something?
You want me to tattle on him?
No.
He didn't do what you told him to do, which was call me about the deficit elimination program. So there, I wasn't gonna say nothing, but you see, he told on himself.
Okay.
I was actually saying, did you get to have this somebody?
Oh, sorry.
No. Because you ain't hear her say nothing, that's what she got you. She said something. Yeah, I called her first. All right, so you better get her call tomorrow. What did you do? All right.
Oh, I thought he was doing that because
That was good. That was good. If all minds are satisfied, motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Support. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Got it, him.
Naked stir. Right, good. All right, Daryl.
Wait a minute. Oh, you broke my leg.
Sorry. Don't do that. I can't help you.
Is there somebody staying here or this stays in there?